Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Quincy Kane here, and this is live stream number 60. And for this stream, we're going to be checking out a new song released by the band August Burns Red, a song called Ancestry. And coincidentally, last week we were checking out Killswitch Engage, and this new song that was just released features Jesse Leach, the vocalist of Killswitch Engage. So that's pretty awesome. Kind of a cool coincidence there. And I'm going to talk more about this as we get into the reaction segment. But August Burns Red was one of my gateway bands into metal. They were one of the first metal bands I got into, along with Killswitch Engage. And so this is kind of a little bit of a dream team up, you know, for Killswitch and August Burns Red to collaborate on something. So definitely excited about that. Is there no sound? Darn it. Let me see what might be going on here. Okay, I think that was on Stan's end. All right, good. Confirm, can you hear it now? Can everyone hear me? Yeah, because that would stink. So let's see. All right, cool. We should be fine. All right, good. But yes, we're going to be reacting to a song released by August Burns Red. Stan, I was just saying, August Burns Red was one of the first metal bands I got into, one of the bands that got me into metal, along with Killswitch Engage. And coincidentally, this new song that they released is in collaboration with Jesse Leach, the vocalist of Killswitch Engage. So it's like, that's kind of a cool team up for me. That's like that's a metalcore fan's dream right there. So we're going to dive into that later, but we're going to give people a chance to kind of show up. Stan, Moonlight, great to have you guys. Moonlight, I know you said you weren't sure if you're going to be able to stick around. I don't know if you have to leave and then maybe come back, but always enjoy having you here. Anyone else out there, don't be shy, say hello. But I'm going to go ahead and perform a song while we're waiting for more people to show up. And then at some point, we will dive into the reaction segment. So while we're waiting, just say hello. Let me know, how's your week been? You know, what you've been up to, what you've been listening to. Have you seen any good movies lately? I know I've watched a few things. Are you playing any video games right now? So let me know what you've been up to, anything cool or new with you. And I'm going to dive into this first song here. This one's called Brothers to the End. Unbreakable, bonded by our passion, undeniable, brothers till the very end. Just a bunch of outcasts, only meant for slaughter. But we will overcome this if we can band together. Look into my eyes, grab a hold of my hand, remember who we are, brothers till the very end. Remember who we are. has become forgettable. Brothers till the very end, stripped of all its meaning. And now it's just me. And now it's just me. Distant, pregnant, shattered pieces. Thank you. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Sorry, I had my Bluetooth speaker and was in another room and couldn't hear you. Yep, that would make sense. Yep. Sounds great. This song rocks. Thank you, Stan. I appreciate that. Awesome. Well, Stan, how has your week been? I know you just built a Gaga pit for the youth at our church, so we got to play with that some last night. Yep, and that's been well. The harsh vocals are getting more harsh. Yep. They were a little. They weren't too bad, but I haven't. That was the first time I've really done them in a while. If y'all remember last week, I had to do instrumentals because I was getting over some cold and I was feeling a lot better, but didn't quite have my voice back. I'm feeling pretty good now. I can definitely sing now, but again, getting over some stuff. It's I don't really. Wasn't really doing a lot of those harsh vocals while I was getting over some sickness, but I was trying just some singing stuff, trying to get my voice back. And once my singing voice felt pretty good, then I've started to ease back into those harsh vocals. And thankfully, they're all right, but it's definitely something you've got to maintain. You've got to do them pretty frequently to kind of stay consistent. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's not like a switch that you just turn it on and off. You have to maintain it. So, but thank you. Glad they're sounding pretty good. But yes, Stan, thank you so much for building the Gaga pit. For any of you who haven't played Gaga Ball, it's a fun game. It's basically an octagon perimeter, just built out of wood, just these little wooden walls, and 8 walls that make an octagon. And you're inside with a bouncy ball, like a kickball. And the objective, you can hit the ball with your hands. So you got to kneel down and swing your hand to hit the ball. And you're trying to hit people in the legs or in the feet, anywhere below the waist. Anything above the waist doesn't count. But if you hit them below, if you hit them in the leg, they're out. So if someone hits the ball at you, you've got to dodge it. And you can't touch the ball. Unless it has hit the wall. So it hits the wall, you've got one hit. If you hit it once and and you kind of miss, like you can't hit it again like twice in a row. You've got to hit it into the wall before you can hit it again, or you've got to hit an opponent. But yeah, it's a pretty fun, competitive little game. It's very simple, like pretty much anyone can get in and do it, and you just play till the last person standing. So it's kind of like dodgeball, but every man for himself. So it's not teams. Although you could do variations where you have teams and stuff, but awesome. But yeah, aside from the Gaga pit, Stan, what have you been up to? Anything new with you? I'll tell you now, Stan, since you're here. Hold on, let's see. Really glad to be a part of that. I know how much they're going to enjoy it. Yep, Gaga Ball is a lot of fun. One thing I might mention, if you've got a sander, it might be a good idea to sand the top of the barriers, because when I was playing with them last night, I actually got a splinter in my finger from kind of sliding my hand along the edge of it. So that would be my only critique. It's built very nice. It's a really good thing, but it might not be a bad idea to just sand the top of it, just so in case people put their hands on it, they don't have to worry about getting splinters or anything like that. But other than that, really, really well constructed. So So awesome. But yeah, like I said, when we do get into the reaction segment, we're going to be checking out a new song from the band August Burns Red. And August Burns Red is a very, very solid band. You know, okay, think of it this way. Whenever you first get into something, especially a genre of something, not even necessarily music, but like a movie or something, whenever you first get into something, you don't have anything to compare it to. You know what I mean? So you might like something, but you don't know how good or bad it is because you're just discovering it. So a good example of this is when I started getting into action movies. I think even growing up, I always kind of enjoyed like action adventure, you know, exciting movies. But when I first started getting into like actual action movies with like good fight scenes and you know, like good shootouts and chase scenes and stuff, like I loved it. You know, I was a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, just kind of like, man, these movies are great. I love this. And so pretty much any movie that had like any fight scene in it, you know, that was good. But over time, as you see more action movies, you start to kind of distinguish like, oh, here's a movie that's done really well, and here's a movie that's kind of weak. And so it's kind of funny because after a while, after you've seen so many, you can start to compare them, like which ones are good. You can go back to some of those ones that you used to like. You used to think like, man, this is a really good action movie, and then you watch it again, and you're like, you know, that's not as good as I remember. You know, you start to kind of notice, like in comparison, that that it's not quite as good. But the first time you discover it, you know, it's amazing. It's just like, wow, this is great. I love fight scenes. But then you know, you start to see what a good fight scene looks like, and you kind of, you know, not every fight scene is going to live up to that standard. So anyway, I say that analogy to say, with August Burns Red. It's not quite the same thing, but you know, they were one of the first metalcore bands I discovered. So when I was first introduced to that sound, I hadn't heard anything like it before, and they were one of my favorite bands. And for a long time, they were kind of like my top three. It was August Burns Red, Killswitch Engage, and All That Remains. Now, over time, as they released more records, as I discovered more music, I will say August Burns Red has been very consistent. Like they are a good band, so I'm not at all saying that they're not a good band. But their sound. I guess I just developed more of a palette. You know, uh, I like songs. You know, I like songs with a structure and with a catchy chorus or a hook or something. You know, lots of melody. And August Burns Red, the way they write songs, they tend to. It's almost a little bit of what we call a riff salad. And that's sort of a term when it's basically one guitar riff, and then it just goes into another riff, and then another riff. And the song is almost more like a movement than it is a song. There isn't really a chorus or anything. It's just kind of a movement and a dynamic of sounds. And that can work. You know, there's a way you can make that work. And to their credit, I think they're very good at it. But it's just not, you know, it's just not what I enjoy the most, you know, when looking for, you know, what I want out of metal. But we'll talk more about them, you know, when we get to them. But main point, I do still like them. They're still a very solid, consistent band. That's for sure. You know, they're very consistent, very, you know, like I don't think they've done anything like bad or anything. You know, they're very consistent with their work. It's just as I discovered more music, I kind of developed more of a palette. And yeah, Stan says, me too with action movies. And yep, that's just how it goes. It's pretty normal. You know, you discover something for the first time, and if you've never heard anything like it before, it can be amazing. But then once you kind of experience more things like it, you kind of you can gauge it better. You can start to realize like how good it actually is, or how not good it actually is. You know. So, all right. Well, Stan, it looks like it's just me and you right now. So I'm going to go ahead and play one more song while we're waiting for more people to show up. So. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play one more. And while I'm playing this, Stan, let me ask you, while we're a little bit on the topic of action movies, what are some of your favorite action movies? And have you seen the John Wick movies? Because they've been dropping trailers for John Wick 4, which is supposed to come out sometime next year. And I've watched one trailer, but I'm trying not to watch any more because I don't want anything spoiled. I just want to save it all. I've enjoyed the John Wick movies so far, and I'm really looking forward to the fourth one because it's got Donnie Yen in it, who's awesome, and it's got Scott Adkins, and I love Scott Adkins. He's awesome, really underrated action actor. So, let me know if you've seen the John Wick movies and what are some of your favorite action movies. I'm gonna dive into another song here. Let me just get ready. Yep, here we go. All right. All right. This one's called Erase Myself. I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again. Grab a hold of me and throw me in the deep end. Show me the flame. It burns inside of me, and I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again, and I'll face myself with honesty, erase myself and start again, yeah. I can't remain without the refiner. It's time to change what used to define me. Resist the pain, I have to keep fighting. Excite the flame that's deep down inside me. First, but worth all the pain. I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again. And I'll face myself with honesty, erase myself and start again. Thank you. All right, so I think we're going to dive into the reaction segment here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. For anyone just joining us, don't be shy. Say hello. I saw one and some of two. Okay. It's funny, my dad saw it first and told me about it. He said he was all fired up about it, which is normally the other way around with us. We both like Keanu Reeves. Okay, cool, yeah. Yep, Keanu Reeves is good. I don't know if you've seen those clips of him like practicing for John Wick, where he's like on the shooting range and stuff, but he puts in a lot of hard work and does a lot of his own stunts, if not all his own stunts. It actually wouldn't surprise me if he's doing all his own stunts in those movies, because the director of those movies is or were formerly stuntmen, and so it's kind of like those movies are kind of like a love letter to stuntmen. So that's why they have really good action. But yeah, the first one is really good. To be honest, the second one's okay, but it's got a few kind of cheesy moments, you know, some things that didn't quite work out. And then the third one's good. I would say, I think the first one has the best story, and the third one has the best action. But they're all pretty consistent. You know, definitely consistent enough for me to be excited about the franchise. I'm glad they're making a fourth one, and I'm really pumped for it to come out. So I'm planning to go see it in theaters, so maybe we can hit that one together. So, all right, we're going to dive into our reaction segment here. Again, just to introduce what it is we are reacting to. We are checking out a new song from the band August Burns Red. This is a song called Ancestry. And this song features Jesse Leach, the vocalist of Killswitch Engage. So I'm pretty excited about that. And this is a very new song. It was released like just last week. So yeah, so pretty new. Now, real quick, just some background on August Burns Red. So for myself, my journey in like heavy music was a bit like I kind of eased into it, you know. I didn't fall right into it right away, you know. I started off with just like some punk rock bands and stuff, you know, Reliant K, Sum 41, that kind of thing, a little bit of classic rock, and then I started getting introduced to hard rock bands like Pillar and Flyleaf, POD, and then I started getting into the screamo era. Now, even a lot of the screamo bands I liked, they weren't purely just screamo. They had screaming in them, but it was mostly singing. So, for instance, I probably would have considered Flyleaf screamo, but they're not really a screamo band. They have screaming in it, but it's mostly singing. They're more hard rock, alternative metal, that kind of thing. Same thing with bands like Red, Blindside. Blindside is a little screamo. And then Chevelle, you know. So yeah, those were some bands that I was really into. But then I was also into Underoath. Now, Underoath, that is a screamo band. And screamo is kind of it's definitely where the majority of the vocals are harsh. You know, it's mostly the screaming vocals. But it's kind of like really heavy punk music. You know, it's a bit more dissonant, a bit more emotional, a little darker sounding, and yeah, it's not quite metal. It's more like punk and hardcore, but even though it's screaming, even though it's really intense, it's actually not. It's not really metal. Metal, really has that double bass and that chunky guitar, those chunky guitar riffs, and you know, metal is just kind of a different kind of intensity. So, so all that to say, that's kind of what I was into, and a lot of these bands that I liked, especially Underoath, they were a part of the record label Solid State Records, okay? And so one day, I'm with my friends, and we go into a Christian bookstore, and we're looking at the DVD section, and I find this. So it's called This Is Solid State 3, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm looking at the back of it, and it's got all these bands on the back. It's got Under Oath, which I knew. It had Demon Hunter, which I wasn't like a big Demon Hunter fan, but my friend really liked Demon Hunter, and I kind of liked some of them. I'd heard of Norma Jean, and so there were a few bands on there that I'd heard of, and then these other bands I hadn't. But to me, so there wasn't much internet back then. So, if you were going to see music videos, you either needed to see them on TV or buy something like this. This DVD is just a bunch of music videos. That's all it is. So I think it was on sale also. So it was like, sweet, I'm going to get this. So I bought this, and I put it in and watched it. And sure enough, the Under Oath songs, they were great. There are a few other bands on here I really liked, like the As Cities Burn. That was a pretty cool band. The song Bloodsucker Part 2. I really liked that song. Haste the Day was all right. Haste the Day was a band that my friends really liked. So... but it was mostly the Under Oath. But then this one band came on called August Burns Red, and they played a song called Your Little Suburbia is in Ruins. And the first time I heard that, which I think we're going to check out that song in a little bit too, but the first time I heard it, I did not know what to think of it. I'd never heard drums played like that, and the riffs were so heavy, and the vocals were so aggressive, and it was just really intense. And the first time I saw it, I didn't know what to think of it. I wasn't sure. And so I kind of went away from it, and I was like, man, I'm not sure about that. But, a couple days passed, and I was kind of thinking about it. Like, my mind kept going back to it, and curiosity kind of got the best of me. And I was sort of thinking, like, you know what, I kind of want to see it again. So I put it in, I watched it again, and I was listening to it, and I could feel the rhythm and feel the beat, and I was kind of like, I think I like this. And it's funny because it just seemed like whenever, like the time that I was getting into something, it seemed like my friends were getting into it too. So I shared it with them, and sure enough, they liked it, and they introduced bands to me, and that's kind of when we started getting into metalcore. So we got into August Burns Red and Killswitch Engage and All That Remains. Those were kind of like the big three. Blocks, good to have you. We're about to go into our reaction segment here. Are you familiar with August Burns Red? That's what I'm talking about right now. We're about to watch. August Burns Red just released a new song last week called Ancestry. And the song, it features Jesse Leach, the vocalist of Killswitch Engage. So I'm just talking about how I first discovered August Burns Red. I got into them back in the day, probably around like 2007 or something like that. I got this DVD set right here. No, I'm not, but I'm here to chill. Awesome. Well, always good to have you here to chill. August Burns Red was one of the first metalcore bands I got into. I discovered them on this DVD packet. I bought this because it had a few bands that I liked. Mainly Under Oath. Under Oath was on here, which is a great band. First time I watched it, I was like, I hadn't heard metal before. I hadn't heard metalcore, and it was just really intense. It was really heavy. I wasn't really sure what to think of it. But the more I checked it out, I was like, I think I kind of like this. And my friends got into it. And so eventually I got the album. So we're going to check out some August Burns Red today. But we're going to dive into this first song. So if you guys could just let me know, just give me a thumbs up and say, yep, let's go. Stan, Blocks, let me know when y'all are ready. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. Let me know when you are ready, and we will dive into this. So I'm just adjusting the settings here. I'm going to bring up the screen. So let me know if you can see that window right there. You should be able to see the window in the bottom corner. When you guys are ready, we're going to dive right into it. Yep, Stan and I were talking about action movies earlier, and he's saying he's a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. He's definitely got the splits down. The dude is flexible, has some good kicks. Let's see here. Give me that thumbs up and we'll dive into it. Hopefully the stream is playing all right because it seems like the viewers are dipping in and out. I'm not really sure what's going on, so hopefully it's, I don't know if it's on my end or not. Hopefully the stream is playing all right. So, yep, sorry for the delay. Just waiting to kind of hear back You know, again, give me that thumbs up. Yep, thumbs up from Stan. Blocks, he's still out there. Yep, Stan's ready to go. Blocks, if you're ready to go, just give me a thumbs up. Hope you're still out there. I'd love you to be able to see this with us. So, but cool. Yep, the video's up. Only other thing I'll say about August Burns Red before we dive in, they're a good live band. You know, I've seen them live a couple times. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen them live a couple times. They're very nice guys. Their drummer, for sure. That's the one thing I'll say. So, again, August Burns Red was one of the first metal bands I got into, and they're still a very good band. Their new stuff can be kind of hit and miss with me, but back in the day, you know, they were definitely, like, I still like a lot of their old stuff, a lot of those songs that I kind of grew up with. And, however, you know, even if musically, you know, even if they're not necessarily one of my favorite bands, the drummer, Matt Greiner, is the MVP for sure. Like, that dude is a good drummer. He's definitely, like, the standout in the band. Like, they're all good. You know, the vocals are good. The guitarists, they're good. You know, good guitarists. Very solid. But their drummer, man, they've got, like, a really good drummer. So yeah, Matt Greiner is definitely the one to watch. But, all right, well, I'm not really sure what's going on, but we're going to go ahead and dive into this segment. So here we go. This is the song Ancestry by August Burns Red, featuring Jesse Leach. Let's dive in. Nice and aggressive. Digging that. Can't go wrong with blast beats. Nice and aggressive intro. Nice and heavy. I like that upbeat. There's Jesse. It's actually nice to hear some singing, because usually August Burns Red doesn't have singing. Their vocalist, he just does the harsh vocals. Nice and harsh vocals from Jesse. I do have a little suspicion about the video, but I'll talk about that later. Matt killing it on those drums. Vocals are sounding good too. Stan says, I like the mix of singing and harsh. Yeah, that's what I like too. curious if Jesse's going to come back. I hope he does. It's dipping just a little for me. So I'm kind of waiting for something to kind of pull me back in. I like that squealy. Oh, showing Logan the drums. Yeah, Logan should definitely check out Matt Greiner. He's probably one of my favorite drummers. I think Jesse. Yep. Oh, is there some life? Yeah, I'd definitely be curious the story behind this collaboration and the song. I'm guessing since it's called Ancestry, it must be about, you know, an elder passing, like a father figure or something like that. My initial thought, I actually thought that was really cool. That was pretty sick. Definitely one of the better things I've heard from August Burns Red in a while. Initial thoughts. So, yeah, the thing about August Burns Red, as you can hear, that's kind of what their music sounds like. As far as vocals go, it's all harsh vocals. In fact, the only singing came from Jesse, you know, and that's because Jesse sings. Cool. Stan says he wrote it down for Logan. And I'll share some other August Burns Red songs, and I'll have to share some videos to there's some pretty good like drum videos of Matt Greiner that I'll have to share with you guys. But yeah, so August Burns Red, you know, it's Jake, the vocalist, he just does the harsh vocals, you know, just the screams and the growls. And as you can kind of hear, so my initial impression is, like, when it first starts, it's like, man, this is great. It's like, it's intense, and you're digging the riffs and the intensity of it. But after a while, it can get a little redundant, you know? I was kind of checking the time, somewhere around, like, the 3.5-minute mark or something like that. It was kind of starting to feel a little like, okay, you know, kind of waiting for them to do something else. And that's probably like my only criticism is, like, when you get like a sample of August Burns Red, it's like, man, this is amazing, you know, this is really good, you know. But then when you kind of like get the full course, it's a little you know, it's a little redundant. There's not too much variety in there. In fact, they usually don't have choruses in their songs, and this one kind of had a chorus, the parts that Jesse was singing. So that's cool. You know, it's cool that there's a kind of a little bit of a hook in there, a little bit of a chorus to sort of differentiate parts. So all in all, I do like it. I'll have to give this song a few more listens, but I thought it was pretty sweet. I definitely like the inclusion of Jesse Leach, and I'd love to hear like what the story was, you know, kind of behind them getting together. Especially, it is kind of interesting. August Burns Red, they started off as a Christian band. I know the vocalist Jake and Matt still profess to be Christians. I'm not sure if the other members do. So, but you know, all in all, they typically have you know, positive lyrics and usually Christian-based lyrics and that kind of thing. Now Jesse has a background in Christianity as well. I don't think he is a Christian. I think he has certain respects and certain beliefs. I think he believes in God, but I don't think he's a straight up Christian. He kind of he's a little open minded, to kind of like spiritualism and other things like that. So I'm not totally sure, but I know I think his father was a pastor, and so and even a lot of early Killswitch Engage lyrics were scripture inspired, and I think even still. Sometimes a lot of the lyrics you write, comes from scripture and stuff. So with all that in mind, I would just be kind of curious what kind of conversation they might be having for this collaboration and for this particular song, like the meaning of the song, why this song, why was this message, So I'll have to do a little bit of research into that. However, one thing I wanted to point out about the video. So when it comes to collaborations, you don't have to get together physically to collaborate. And so I don't know if they actually got to meet with Jesse. Obviously, they communicated with him. But I don't know if they got to like meet with him in the studio when they recorded this, or if they just sent him the tracks kind of back and forth and just had like Zoom meetings and discussed the track and how he was going to be featured in it, and then he recorded it on his end and sent back the vocal recordings to him. That's a possibility. And then in the video, you can kind of tell. I'll click through to it. Let me find where Jesse comes in. All right, so right here. So Jesse only appears in this black backdrop. And I'm going to mute the video. I'm going to play it. So if you watch this section here, when Jesse appears, hold on, he's coming in just a second, but it's just a black backdrop. There he is. All right, black backdrop. And there's Jake. Now, this kind of makes it look like they're together, but to be honest, they probably shot this separately. Jake probably they probably filmed him in front of a black backdrop in his location, and Jesse was probably somewhere else, and they got footage of him on a black backdrop and then just edited it together. So I'm not sure that they were actually together for the video shoot of this. And that's something music videos do. Sometimes the artists, their schedules don't line up. They can't actually get together. And, it's not bad. It's kind of gives the impression that they're together doing this song. But I have a feeling that they weren't actually together when they shot that. So fun little filmmaking behind-the-scenes note for you there and how people do things, Yep, Stan was commenting, started off great, then leveled off. And I would agree with that, I felt like it was, I felt like, but to its credit, I wouldn't even say it started off great. I would say, yes, it started off great. And even like, almost halfway through, it was still pretty good, but then kind of, getting like 3/4 of the way through, getting to the halfway point, it was starting to kind of level off a little bit, and I think it ended pretty good. It went back to that hook, so that was kind of nice. But again, I'll have to listen to it a few times to see what I think for sure. But all in all, yep, that's a little taste of August Burns Red. Let's see here, Stan. Let's see, what else are we going to respond to here, or react to here? I think we're going to check out a little more August Burns Red. Let me just see what other songs I've got on the list here. All right, we'll check out a little more. So, how do I want to do this? I'll tell you what, let's listen to one more August Burns Red song, and then I'm going to play a song for you guys, and then we'll dive into a little bit more. So, Stan, since it's just me and you, I'm going to share with you a couple things. Man, I'm so torn. All right, we'll check out this song. So, this is a song from another song from August Burns Red. Oh, sorry. I know what I want to do now. My bad. I want to react to. Here we go. I want to check out the very first August Burns Red music video that I heard. So that's what we're going to check out now. So here we go. Let me switch things around real quick. So like I said, August Burns Red was one of the first metal bands that I got into, that I discovered. I discovered them from this DVD case. And they... well, I'll just show you. So, like I said, when I first heard them, yeah, their music's kind of like that, and at the time, that was, you know, really different for me. And again, sort of getting into screamo music, that's the thing too. You know how when you first get into something, you like everything that has to do with that. So when I first got into screamo, it was like all screaming, you know. If it had screaming, I liked it. That was it, you know. But then after a while, you develop that taste. So that was the thing. So that was kind of enough for me. But over time, again, I've sort of come to appreciate melodies and hooks and choruses and clean vocals, things like that. I wonder if the video was hinting of his return and them being back. So, yep, could be the case, something like that, you know, especially at the end there with the heart monitor kind of beeping. So I'll have to, again, with the harsh vocals, it's a little hard to discern the lyrics sometimes. I could catch some of the words he was saying, but plus I only heard it once, but I'll have to check the lyrics and kind of see. But from the looks of the video, it kind of looked like it was sort of the frustration of losing somebody, and I'm not totally sure what the relationship was. Looked like an older gentleman, so it looked like a father or something like that. And you know, I don't know if he has a good relationship with his father or if it's a rough relationship with his father. And so, but, you know, just having to deal with that loss, you know. But yeah, so here we go. We're going to check out the first August Burns Red video I ever discovered. Now, quick little note. In this video, they actually had a different vocalist. So the band is I'm pretty sure the band is all the same except for the vocalist. This was their first vocalist. And I can't remember, I can't remember his name. I think he only did like one album, maybe some demos or something. He might have done 2 albums, but this was like really early when they were first getting started. And then Jake came in for the next album, and then it's been Jake ever since. So this is a song called Your Little Suburbia is in Ruins. And this was like the first metal song I ever heard. So keep that in mind. Like this, and it's kind of a, for lack of a better word, it's kind of a creepy video. You know, that was intentional. You know, it's supposed to be kind of eerie and kind of dark and sinister looking. So yeah, so this was pretty intense when I saw it for the first time back in 2007. So here we go. But I still like this song. It's pretty impactful. So we'll see what you think, Stan. Oh, whoops. Let me adjust the audio real quick. There we go. You might have been able to hear it. I couldn't hear it. So here we go. Nice and heavy. It's just super intense, you know? That's pretty common. They do these sort of one-chord breakdowns. It's nice and heavy. A little bit of melody with the guitars there. But they have these nice little sort of breaks before they come in heavy with something. Here it comes. Hopefully that was in sync. There might be a little bit of delay. And I'd never heard drum, at the time, I had never heard drums like that. Like that double bass is, you know, it was just intense. You know? Get to the finale. I like this little guitar break coming up here. Yeah, so yeah, that was the first like real metal song that I'd ever heard, and my first introduction to metal. And I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know what to think about that. You know, it was just intense. That was like the only word I could think. But again, like my adrenaline was rushing the first time I'd heard that, and then but it kind of, you know, something about it was kind of curious to me. I was like, I kind of want to hear it again, and then eventually, kind of listening to it, I came to appreciate it. So. It's a little, I think, again, with it being like one of the first songs, I think I still kind of like it. But listening to it now, again, it's a little bit of a riff salad. What's a riff salad? You know, it's just when they go from, you know, one riff to, just riff after riff after riff, you know, just kind of goes and goes. And the song has some dynamic to it. I'll give them credit for that. You know, they kind of take little breaks so that they can come in heavy again. But again, yeah, wild is a good word for it. Yep, it's wild. And but again, hearing those drums for the first time, yeah, it was pretty intense. Now, one thing, here's the other thing. One thing that I heard from that ended up becoming a cliche in this genre. So I play in drop tuning, and that band, they play in the same drop tuning in drop C. So what that means is you just tune that low string down to match the low string to match the third string. So then you can play these open chords. See, like no hands. Obviously, you don't want to play the high three notes, but the low three ones. All right? And so it's this nice low note, and what a lot of people like to do is they palm mute, and then they'll do these patterns with the palm mute in sync with the kick drum. So that's what you were hearing, that. And then maybe they'll have some little break like. But you can see people playing with like no hand. They got their other hand out. And they're like. Yeah, you can play one-handed and stuff. And like you can't deny that that's effective. Like it sounds really heavy when you have all that in sync. When you've got the drums and the bass and the guitars all just playing that low note in sync, like it's effective, it works, you know. But it became super cliche in metal and especially metalcore. Like there was always a breakdown, and it was always just. And someone screaming over top of that, you know, and it was just how creative of a pattern could you come up with? There you go. That was it, you know. And so eventually it's like, all right, actually write some music, okay? You know, so I've sort of made that as a rule myself. You know, whenever I do breakdowns, I try to refrain from that. Even probably the closest I got to it is my song Ascension. Let's see. That's it, you know. In Ascension, it's just for those few little measures. Bump, 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 and then we go to. So, yeah. Up, Stan's on his way to Pizza and Proverbs. No worries. Stan, I'll see if I can play another song for you. So I definitely appreciate you tuning in. Let's see here. Let me see what song I got next. All right, yep. So, but yeah, that's August Burns Red. That was their newest song, and that was the one we just watched. That was the song that I first heard by them. One of the first metal songs I ever heard, and that's the song that got me into metal. So you can blame it on that. It's all their fault. All right. So with that said, Stan, if you're leaving, if anyone else is out there, maybe we'll check out some more August Burns Red. But if not, probably going to call this a wrap soon. But this song goes out to Stan. Always appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, you know, whatever you're going through, anyone out there, you know, whatever you're facing, you know, don't give up. Just keep going. Perseverance is such an important thing to have. You know, things aren't going to be easy, but a lot of times the stuff that is worthwhile is going to be hard. It's going to take some effort to achieve it. So that's what this song is about. This one goes out to you, Stan. This is called Get Up Again. Down on the floor, you've been here many times before. You can't ignore the time in hand is running short. No end in sight, and nothing's going right. Why even try? There's nothing left inside. It always hurts to lose what you wanted, but it feels worse to never have tried it. It's not the first and won't be the last time, so get up again. Still holding on, still pushing through this marathon. Give all you've got. There's not much further left to crawl. No end in sight, and nothing's going right. Why even try? There's nothing left inside. It always hurts to lose what you wanted, but it feels worse to never have tried it. It's not the first and won't be the last time, so get up again. Thank you. Hey, Daniel. Good to have you in the chat. Let's see here. Stanley says, awesome. Daniel, evening. Stopping by for a moment, having to work. Hope everyone is doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well, Daniel. How about yourself? How you been doing, man? I just played a song, Get Up Again, and we reacted to a couple things. We were checking out August Burns Red this evening. Are you familiar with that band, August Burns Red? For me, August Burns Red is actually the band that got me into metal. They were one of the first bands. The short version of the story is I was kind of, I got into punk rock first and then kind of got into harder rock and got into alternative metal, not straight up metal, but kind of hard rock alternative metal, a little bit of screamo stuff, which screamo isn't really metal. It's just, it's more like really intense punk rock, hardcore kind of stuff. And so my interest in screamo is kind of what eased me into that. I got this this DVD here. Daniel says he's heard of them. So yeah, they're pretty. I wouldn't say they're huge, but I think they're pretty well known, especially in the metalcore scene. But I got this DVD. This is Solid State Records, and it's just a bunch of bands and music videos that they released. And there were a few bands on there that I liked. Hey, Gabrielle, sorry. Hi, I am Gabrielle here from Colombia. Awesome. Glad to have you, man. Just talking about August Burns Red. They were one of the first metal bands I got into. I was watching, there were a few bands on here that I liked, mainly Under Oath, but there were a few bands I hadn't heard of. And so I was watching the music videos, and this music video from August Burns Red came up. And I had just never heard drums played like that. It was just super intense, just these really heavy double bass drums. And I wasn't really sure what to think of it. The vocals were intense, I don't know. I'd never heard anything like it before. And so I kind of went away from it sort of man, I don't know about that. But, over the next few days, I was kind of thinking about it. It was just kind of stuck in my head. And I was like, I think I kind of like this. And so I went back and I watched it again. And I was like, I kind of want to see it again. And so I watched it and I was like, yeah, I think I kind of like this. And sure enough, they were one of the first bands I got into. So we were reacting to a song they put out. They just released a new song called Ancestry, and it features Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage. So we checked out the song. It's pretty cool. It's I'll give it a few more listens. I kind of liked it, but yeah, we checked that out, and then we did watch the music video. That was the first one I ever saw. So I tell you what, let's. I'm not sure how long you'll be able to stick around, Daniel, but let's see if we can check out one more August Burns Red song, and then I'll see if I can play a song for you before you have to go. So August Burns Red, one of the first albums they put, it wasn't their first album, but it was the first album I got by them, was called Messengers, and that is a really good album. That's a really solid record. That came out around 2007, and then in 2009, they put out a record called Constellations, and that might be my favorite album from August Burns Red, besides their Christmas album. I mentioned that. August Burns Red, they sort of made a tradition of doing every Christmas, they do a metal cover of a Christmas song, and eventually they put out an album of just a bunch of Christmas songs, and it's pretty great. I listen to it every Christmas, so we'll probably check that out when December gets around. But Constellations is a pretty solid record. I would say it's my favorite from them. So I think that's what we're going to check out real quick. This is a song from that record. Gabriel, are you familiar with August Burns Red? Do you know this band? And are you familiar with this song, the album Constellations? Because that's what we're going to check out here. This is a song called Whitewashed. This might be my favorite song on the album. So, again, I do like August Burns Red. Back when I first got into them, I was discussing this with Stan. You know how when you discover something for the first time, you don't have you've never heard it before, so you don't have anything to relate it to. So the first time you hear metalcore, you know, this being my first metalcore band, I just thought it was amazing. You know, I'd never heard anything like it before. But over time, you hear more bands and you start to develop a bit of a palette. And then sometimes you go back to the older stuff and it's not quite as good as you remember now that you have some stuff to compare it to. Or you find that, wow, this is still really good, you know? And so that's kind of the case with August Burns Red. They're a very consistent, very solid band, but their songs are a little bit of riff salads, you know? Like it's kind of just riff after riff, and sometimes they can get a little redundant. That's probably my only critique. You know, and that's just my taste. I like songs. I like structure and catchy melodies and choruses and that kind of thing. That's what I like. And so August Burns Red, they can write some pretty great riffs, but sometimes their music can get a little redundant. Now, with that said, their drummer, Matt, is really good. He's definitely the MVP of the band, probably one of my favorite drummers. So this is a song called Whitewashed by August Burns Red. So, yeah, let's check it out. Gonna get it up here in just a moment. Here we go. I think an ad's gonna play. But yeah, give me a thumbs up if you can see the video.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, but did
let me
you
know if you're ready
also
to go. Oh man, hate it when it buffers right when I'm about to hit the skip button.
print that and that and that?
And skip. Here we go. All right, this is Whitewashed by August Burns Red. Maybe. Maybe pause it for a second so it can load. But yeah, this one has some pretty cool riffs and some great drumming in it. Like, I like the opening melody. And then the drums. Tienes una voz. I might have to translate that. I'm afraid I don't speak Spanish fluently. But Gabriel, do appreciate you tuning in. It's a nice heavy metalcore riff. I like this polyrhythm, the splash. Here's where it really kicks in. Some blast beats here. Again, the drummer is amazing. Breakdown coming up. A little guitar solo here, kind of. Oh, well, it's more of a riff, I guess. Yeah, not really a guitar solo. Kind of just more of a lick kind of thing. Thank you for the inspiration. This song is composed pretty good, you know, because here it's going to go back to the intro. So I do think this is one of their better songs. Yep. So that's probably one of my favorite August Burns Red songs. But again, that's kind of let's see here. Daniel says sounds pretty good, and then we got a little dab emoji from Gabriel. Yep. So again, it's like they're good, but that's pretty much August Burns Red. Like once you've heard that, that's kind of what you can expect from them. And I do enjoy that certain elements of it, but like I said, I think over the years I've just come to really appreciate. I really like melodies, and I really like catchy, hooks and choruses and things like that. Now, again, back in my teenage days when I was first getting into metal, I kind of went through a phase where like all I wanted was screaming and harsh vocals, and so that was fine, and yeah, that's all I wanted. Like it was, really satisfying for me to listen to that. But over time, it's like I still like that, but after a while, it can get a little redundant, And so I like the melodies that kind of break it up. But to their credit, I do think that song is arranged well. Some of their songs, the arrangements can be a little, it's just a riff salad. It's just riff after riff after riff, and so yeah. But that's probably my favorite song from them, or one of my favorite songs. Cool. Now, Daniel, I don't know how much longer you can stick around, but Daniel and Gabriel, I'm going to go ahead and play a song for you guys. Just give me a second here to get set up. But yeah, always appreciate you tuning in. Again, Daniel, I don't know how long you can hang out, but anything new with you, anything exciting, or any plans coming up? I know Thanksgiving's coming up, and I can't remember. I can't remember if you have a big family or anything like that. Do you have any plans for Thanksgiving? Are you, do you have to travel for Thanksgiving? Do you, anyone coming your way? Is it pretty family nearby and stuff? Yeah, just whatever your plans are for that. For me, Thanksgiving's kind of funny. We've got such a big family, and I definitely enjoy, like, I think sometimes we'll do a Thanksgiving family with the immediate family, so like my brothers and sisters and their, the in-laws and the nephews and nieces, and that I can really enjoy. But the actual Thanksgiving day where we have like all our cousins and relatives come, sometimes that can be a little. I have to exercise my my social skills when that happens. So it's like yeah, it's just it's a bunch of people that I'm related to, but I don't really know them, and so sometimes that can be a little bit of a practice. Okay, probably can just listen to this song and then have to get back to work. Just preparing for Thanksgiving. I work in the grocery industry. Okay. Could you play Under by Much? Sorry, Gabriel. I'm afraid I don't have any covers or any song. But Gabriel, I appreciate you tuning in, so I'm going to play this song for you and Daniel. This is the song you guys have been waiting for. This one is called Waiting. And let me ask you, Gabriel, how do you say waiting in Spanish? I'd be curious. So you let me know how to say waiting in Spanish, and I'm going to play the song for you. This one's called Waiting. Daniel, Gabriel. I keep wanting to say Gabriel. That might even be how you pronounce it. Is it Gabriel? I keep combining it with Gabriel and Gabriel. But either way, this song goes out to you guys.
This is where we are. Where else have we been? Circling this room, round and round again. Look into my eyes, see if there's a change. Who I try to be is not who I became. Everyone is gone, they found the way out. I will find it till any second now. way. Maybe this will end. Seeing no results has got me feeling down, but I'll be up again any minute now. But will you find me? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. But will you find me? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. Been so patient. Time is wasting, and I can't take it. Please, prove me something. I'll take anything. Just don't leave me. Anything now. But will you find me? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. But will you find me? I'm still waiting. Waiting.
Thank you. Daniel, I know you've got to get back to work. I don't even know if you're still out there or if you had to leave, but yeah, just want to say I hope you're doing well. And man, I always appreciate you. You know, we'll have to catch up sometime. So next time you can hang out for a stream, we'll have to hang out and talk, catch up and stuff. But I hope you're doing well, man. With Thanksgiving coming up, let me just say that I am thankful for you, and I hope everything's going well. And appreciate you stopping by, even if it's just for a little bit. So that's right. Yeah, you're right, man. You were going to Alaska, and I was going to New York. So we got to talk about that sometime, you know, when we can. I'd love to hear about Alaska, how your trip was. And awesome, still here. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll have to talk about Alaska, and I'll tell you about New York. It was a good trip, you know. It was a lot of fun. Had fun with my brother and my nephew. My brother-in-law. I mean, I kind of consider him a brother, but, you know, brother-in-law and nephew. And, you know, we were only there for one full day and then 2 travel days. But even the travel days, we were in New York for a little bit. And we crammed it full with stuff. So, you know, it was kind of pretty fast-paced. Moonlight, good to have you back. Yeah, you're still live, yep. So far, probably going to hang out a little bit longer, but definitely getting close to the end here. Severo. So is that how you say waiting in Spanish? Severo. I was asking. I don't know if you prefer me to say Gabriel or Gabriel, but I was asking how to say waiting. That's the name of the song. So, but Severo, I believe. Is this a new song I hear? What a guttural, so serious and well defined. Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate that. Thank you, Moonlight. Awesome. Well, you have a good night. See you soon. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate you. Take care, and yeah, we'll catch up. Ahora. Ahora is now, right? Is that right? Sí. Yes. Okay. Cool. Moonlight, appreciate you stopping by. And yeah, that song is called Waiting, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's new to you, you know, because you haven't heard it, I'm sure. But it's, I mean, I wrote the song a while back, so it's not really like a new song, but I haven't released it yet. It's on the list. I should be releasing it within the next, you know, few releases and stuff. Usually, let's see, as far as song releases go, which that's actually something I can update you guys about. So I've got a new song that I'm going to be releasing soon, and I've been working on a music video for it. So that's kind of what I've been up to lately. I've been shooting a music video, and that's taken a bit of work because, I mean, I had to kind of come up with the idea for the video first, and plus I'm doing it by myself, so I had to figure out like what can I actually pull off by myself, what's going to work for the song. Once I had that figured out, I had to get kind of a little bit of a pre-production phase, kind of like getting some test footage and kind of trying things out, seeing what I could pull off, and let's see here. Yeah, and then I've already shot some of the video, and then there's another portion of the video that I kind of needed to get some test footage just to kind of figure out, make sure I could actually pull it off. So it's been fun shooting it, but it's I still got to finish that. Now, once that's done, I'll be releasing a new song, and after that, I'm hoping that I'll be able to release songs a bit more frequently. Because here's kind of the situation. So I can probably produce a song in about 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. You know, so especially next year, hopefully I'll be releasing a new song every 6 to 8 weeks. But I have to pair up that song with a video. And so ideally, normally I would just do my one-man band videos, just a video of me playing all the instruments. That's kind of the plan. But this song that I'm releasing is called Waking Up, and I've already done a playthrough for it. I did a playthrough a while back, sort of as a demo mix, but I've since remastered the song, and so now it's a little more polished. It's ready to be released, but since I already did a playthrough video for it, I either needed to do a lyric video, which lyric videos don't typically perform very well, or I could do a music video, which music videos usually do perform well, but they're also a lot harder to make. They take a lot longer to produce. So that's the situation. Yeah, so I'm currently shooting this music video, but this should be the last song that needs a music video. Like, after this song, everything else I'll be releasing, I have not done a playthrough video for it. So that's the good news. So after this song, I should be able to put out some stuff a lot quicker. Moonlight asking, I wanted to ask, are you a fan of System of a Down or ever listened to them? I was listening to Waking Up, and the beginning guitar sounded like their song Aerials. That's interesting for that comparison. I am familiar with System of a Down. I do like some of their songs. I don't know if I'd say, like, some people are, you know, big System of a Down fans. I don't know if I'd say like a huge fan, but I do like some of their songs. In fact, I do like the song Aerials. I'm trying to remember. Something like that, right? Yeah, something like that. Sorry, I was just kind of curious to figure it out, but yeah. yeah, I do like some System of a Down songs. I do like that song, Aerials. I would not say that they were a inspiration for that song, so any similarity is a bit coincidental. And I'm trying to think if I don't know if I wouldn't say I directly draw any inspiration from System of a Down. Maybe indirectly, maybe there are certain sounds from certain songs of theirs that relate. I will tell you, for that song, Waking Up, the so it does have kind of the same rhythm, that's for sure, but kind of a different tone. This one, mine's a little more, has that kind of seventh. Slightly different emotional tone, but when you play them back to back, it's definitely like, oh, they are kind of similar rhythmically, but I think tonally they're a little bit different. Yeah, I do like some System of a Down songs. That particular song, Waking Up, when I originally wrote it, it was actually for my my old band. I had a band several years ago, and I think we had some heavy songs. I was trying to write a soft song for our metal band, our metalcore band, and that was going to be the song, but I never really got to show it to the guys, and the band disbanded, so I ended up just using it for myself. But when I originally wrote that, it was meant to be kind of a soft song for a heavy band, so that was kind of the motivation behind it. But if anything, it might have a little bit of a Pillar inspiration to it. I don't know if you're familiar with Pillar, but yeah, they one of the first like rock bands I was kind of introduced to was Pillar. They put out an EP. My brother-in-law gave it to me. He gave me a bunch of CDs, and one of the CDs was an EP by Pillar. It was the Broken Down EP, and it had like all these acoustic versions of songs. If you like Flyleaf and Chevelle, you would probably like Pillar. They're pretty good. K-Te, Badase, Slipknot. Something, Slipknot. I do know Slipknot. I don't know if I would say I'm a huge Slipknot fan. I can't. There might be like one song by Slipknot. I don't know. They're okay. Their sound is a little too, like, I appreciate like really tight musicianship, and their sound is a little chaotic for me, and not even, not chaotic in a structured sense. Like, even a band like Between the Buried and Me, they can have these chaotic moments in their music, but the musicianship is very tight. Whereas Slipknot kind of sounds like they're going to go off the rails at any moment. And yeah, I don't know. So if I can definitely appreciate them, but I can't say it's my flavor. Yeah, that's what I was hearing. I'm not a music pro or even studied rhythm, melody, etc. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, wonder if he listens to SOD. Yep. No, that's, I mean, if anything, it's kind of neat that you can make that comparison and stuff. So, and that's just, it's kind of inevitable. That kind of happens with music. Sometimes you write something and you realize, it's like, oh, hey, this kind of has some similarities to something else. And sometimes that's intentional. I've definitely written stuff before that was, like, again, I think you commented on one of my songs kind of sounding like Kill Switch Engage a little bit, and that was probably more intentional. That was like, that was me trying to capture that sound that they have. So that was a bit more intentional. That same song, Waking Up, I've actually had people comment saying it kind of gives them Tool vibes. It kind of sounds like Tool. And that would be unintentional, There's a few Tool songs I like, and I can definitely hear like, oh yeah, it does kind of have a similar vibe to Tool a little bit, but that was, unintentional. And that's just kind of the case, if you're writing music in a specific genre, there are certain areas where it might come in, might be similar to something else, or might have yes, you could kind of compare it to something else, but I think that's just kind of inevitable that happens sometimes. I'll have to check out Pillar. Yep, definitely for sure. Slipknot is like their sound, not their energy. Well, got to protect my spirit. Yeah. I can kind of see that. That's the thing too. I think there's certain, I don't know, certain things. I don't know. I've kind of checked them out before, but yeah, I could probably agree with that. Let's see here. What was I going to say? Moonlight, if I remember, I think you said you do a little bit of songwriting yourself. Is that correct? And I know you don't. I don't think you play any instruments, but do you still do that much? Are you still writing? Have you written anything new lately? If so, what kind of inspired you? What's kind of inspired you to do some songwriting, if you still do that? And I think I'm remembering that correctly, but I know for myself. I don't know if you've heard this story, but I actually got into songwriting kind of by accident a little bit. It was when I first learned guitar. I really wanted to learn guitar because my cousin got me into skateboarding. We were playing, the Tony Hawk video games, and we'd go outside, skateboard, we'd come inside and play the video games, go outside, skateboard, come back inside and watch a skate video. And I just liked punk rock. I liked the energy, just that high energy music. So I wanted to learn guitar, and he had kind of showed me, punk rock, and he'd show me some like classic rock bands like AC/DC. Now I didn't have access to any of that music, so when I was playing guitar, he showed me how to play a power chord, which I'll give you a little guitar lesson here. A power chord is it's the shape that you can play pretty much anywhere on the guitar. So you take your pointer finger, you put it on a note, you just press down on a string and a fret, and then you go down one string and over 2 frets with your ring finger, and you press down on that string. So it's these 2 notes. Okay? And if you can pick them like that and get them to sound good, then you can strum them and get a sound. And you can play that shape anywhere. So I used that, and I would try to play these songs that I had heard, but again, I was playing completely from memory, and my cousin would always tell me, that's not how it goes. You're playing that wrong. That's not how it goes. And I just got tired of him telling me I was playing everything wrong. I just wanted to play guitar. So I had this idea. I decided, I know, I'll just make up my own songs so that he can't tell me I'm playing it wrong. And so that's why I started songwriting. So if I wanted to play guitar, I had to make up something to play, and so I just used that one technique I knew and kind of experimented with it and played it. And I pick up new techniques from other guitarists here and there. And eventually, what I did was, the funny thing was, whenever I heard a song that I liked, instead of saying, hey, I want to learn how to play that song, I would say, I like the way that sounds. I want to write something like that. And so that's kind of what I did, was with my songwriting, I sort of tried to imitate sounds that I liked. And to this day, that's kind of still how I kind of learn. Whenever I would discover a new band that I liked, I would try to write music and try to kind of imitate their sound. And so the first few songs that I would write might sound a little too similar to the band, might sound too much like Killswitch Engage or too much like Flyleaf or whatever band. But then after a while, I kind of, I would write a song that just on my own, like no direct inspiration. And I would kind of just go after the sounds using the techniques that I'd learned. And and that comes out, I think, a little more something original to myself. But Gabriel, what about yourself? Do you play any instruments? Do you write songs? If so, what instrument do you play? Let me know. All right, let's see. Yes, I write my own songs. I wrote one the other night. Oh, cool. But still no instruments, although I've always wanted to play the drums. That's cool if you want to play drums. Again, you can learn pretty much anything on YouTube. So you should try to learn drums. There's actually a great video series. If you look up on YouTube, look up how to practice drums without a drum set or something like that. I can't. It's something like that. But there's a guy who made a video series And he shows you. Because the thing about drums is even though there's all these parts, the beat comes from your body. So really all you need are a pair of drumsticks, and you just learn how to play the beat with your hands and with your feet. And then you can translate that to a real drum kit later. So he kind of shows you like a little setup. You just stack some books on your bed. You just, sit on a seat, and you might get like a little something for a pad. You set that down for the snare drum, and then stack something up to be like the hi-hat or the cymbals. And you can just learn your beats on that, and then later translate it to another drum set, or save up some money and buy an affordable kit, or piece one together or something. But that's cool. I say if you're interested in learning how to play the drums, you should go for it. When I was 14, I discovered Arctic Monkeys, and it was the first band I ever found all on my own, and I fell completely in love with his writing, and Alex Turner, their lead, is what inspired me to start. That's cool, yeah. And that's great, when you hear a band and you just resonate with their music or their lyrics or whatever it might be, and they inspire you. And I will say, for a long time, hey, Pablo, good to have you, man. We're just talking a little bit about songwriting and stuff. For a long time, my main focus was just the music. And it might be kind of cheesy, but, it wasn't until I was in high school and, I had my first love. And, for the record, I wasn't into dating. I didn't like the idea of trying people out. If I was going to be in a relationship with someone, I was in it for the long haul. I was looking for someone to marry, and I found someone that I thought I was going to marry. I was like, man, I could see myself being with this. And so, we had something of a romantic summer together, and I just couldn't see things going wrong. I knew I was committed, and I knew I wasn't going to do anything, to hurt her. And so I couldn't see any reason why she wouldn't want to be in a relationship anymore. And so I was already like planning out our future in our head. But sure enough, one day she kind of expressed to me, hey, I think I just want to be friends. And at the time, it hurt. At the time, I didn't understand. I thought something was wrong with me. And later, I learned that, we were just too young. Even I was too young for a relationship that serious, whether I realized it or not. But that heartbreak put me on a journey with my lyrics. And for the first time, I started hearing the words of songs. For so long, I didn't care about the words. But then once I heard, a sad song, all of a sudden, I could relate to it. And it felt... I don't know. It was relieving, to kind of be able to connect with something and to hear something that I could relate to. And so that sort of, and then I remember writing the first song. I wrote this song for the first time, actually writing my feelings out. And I remember just playing that song and singing it over and over and over again, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And so that was kind of the breakthrough moment for me, where I was like, okay, lyrics do matter. I should try to write lyrics. And so ever since then, I've tried to kind of express myself. And over time, I've discovered artists. Lacey is definitely, a big inspiration. I think she writes great lyrics. Killswitch and Gage, I think they write really good lyrics. What else? Ben Folds, he writes great lyrics. So, there's a few artists that definitely write some lyrics that have just connected with me. But so it sounds like Gabriel is into some metal, some black metal. Pablo, if you're out there, we've got a viewer here named Gabriel, and he is joining in the conversation some, but I'm not sure if he speaks English completely. He's texting a lot of Spanish, so maybe you could translate for us. But from the context of that, I'm guessing he's commenting something about black metal or industrial metal, that kind of thing. But when I got saved at 16, it was a very emotional experience, and I sort of put my pain and feelings into my writing, and it changed how I wrote. Then I found Flyleaf, and that inspired it further. Yeah, definitely. Again, like I said, Lacey writes great lyrics, and yes, those songs are strangely comforting. I think it's just, when you're feeling something, it's nice to be able to put words to it, and especially the hard feelings, Happiness isn't the only feeling to acknowledge. Happiness is good, obviously, but sadness and anger and fear aren't always bad things either. I think we tend to look at them in a negative sense, And really, I think, all right, we tend to look at those as bad feelings, and then we look at happiness as a good feeling. And so we sort of, a lot of us, we live by this motion that I need to do what makes me happy because happy is good. But that's not necessarily true. In fact, what's better, and what Scripture actually teaches about, is contentment. Learning to be content no matter what situation you're in. Whether you have plenty or whether you barely have anything, learning to be content in those circumstances. So what I've learned is contentment is really what we need to strive for. And you learn to be content when you trust in God and His provision and His peace that surpasses all understanding. And so with that, sadness isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's relieving to know that we can grieve when something bad has happened. When we experience heartache, that never feels good, but it happened. It'd kind of be a shame if someone you cared about passed away or someone you loved moved away or something, and you can't emote to that. You're just kind of like, oh, they're gone, whatever. It's like that sadness just shows that meant something to you, that they meant something, and yeah, it's a hurtful feeling, but at the same time, it's relieving to kind of go through that. And it's the same thing with, anger or fear. Fear can protect us sometimes. You shouldn't be conquered by fear, but if you are scared of something, again, we were talking about this last time. I said, if you're scared, you're probably going the right way. And that's not to say that fear is a good thing, but to know that you're afraid of something, that shows that there is some kind of significance to this thing that you fear. Maybe, I think sometimes, when we let fear overcome us, we might be scared of things that don't matter, but when we're in control of our emotions, when we're content and we're the ones in control, then yeah, fear is kind of something that just helps you recognize the significance of something, the importance of something. It doesn't mean that you have to submit to that fear. It doesn't mean you have to give in. It just means you recognize the importance of it. Yes, amen. King David was a great example of an amazing songwriter. Yep, for sure. He wrote just as many lamentations as praise. Yep, exactly. And that's the great thing about music. Again, bringing this back to writing lyrics, it's comforting just to be able to articulate those feelings, because feelings are hard to understand. I think anytime we feel something, I think we question, like, why do I feel this way? And so it's nice to see someone or hear like a song and to see the words that someone can use that just describe, like, yes, I feel that way, and it kind of helps us overcome that. For me, sad songs make me feel better. I do think you have to be careful a little bit. And I think you can write sad songs with a positive meaning. You can still acknowledge those feelings, but with a feeling of hope. And again, I've kind of expressed that before with my own lyrics. That's kind of what I try to do, is I might express, sadness or anger or fear, but there's always hope in there. It's not written with the intent of negativity and losing hope or remaining in that sadness. It's just acknowledging it and then moving on, having that perseverance. So yeah, that's definitely the power of lyrics and songs. So, but anyway, it is getting a little late, but I appreciate y'all coming back. So I'm gonna play one more song for you guys before we wrap things up. I'm trying to think what song I should play, because I've actually played through my full set already, but I've got other songs. Just I wasn't. I'll tell you what. How about I go ahead and play For You, because I recently posted a short of this song, the music video for this song, so I'll go ahead and play this one. Which, by the way, Moonlight, I believe you said that I'm following you on Instagram. What is your Instagram handle? Because I don't think I realized that I was actually following you on Instagram. So yeah, if you could let me know what your Instagram handle is. I think I know what it is, but I just I don't want to assume, But your Instagram handle, I don't believe, is the same as your YouTube handle, and so yeah, I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play this song. Okay, I thought so. When I first when you first followed me and I followed you back, I was I wasn't sure if that was you or not, you know. And so, but then kind of the way you were commenting, I was like, I think this might be Moonlight. So, so awesome. So yes. So again, I really appreciate the words you shared. You know, I appreciate that so much. So, so this one goes out to you. This song is for you. It's called For You. Okay, we got Pablo communicating with Gabriel. So appreciate that. And Pablo, how are you doing, by the way? You know, always appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and play this song, but let me know what you've been up to. Let me know how you've been. If there's anything new or exciting with you, anything that you're looking forward to. But here we go. This one's called For You. Pablo says, I'm good, man. Glad to hear it, dude.
Well, I know you've coped with this loneliness. You think you're okay, but you've been dragged. I'm out here pleading, but you can't hear me. Your silent screams are deafening. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me. I thought I was different, but you made me like them. Begged you to hold on, but you still let go. And from the distance, I can see what's missing. You never listen, so you'll never know. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. You're my closest friend. My deepest wound, my most painful scar, and I cherish you. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me.
Thank you. Thanks, Moonlight. Appreciate that. Pablo, I was on class. Did you mean in class? On class? Not sure what you're referring to there, but Pablo, I hope you're doing well. To be honest, I wish I could hang out longer because now that you're tuning in, been a little while since I've chatted with you, but I appreciate you stopping by for sure. Thanks, Pablo. Yep, appreciate that. But yeah, just to kind of taking a guitar class. Are you taking a guitar class, or were you just commenting on? Oh, I was in class taking a guitar class. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, cool. I see. Cool. What are you working on guitar? Are you trying to learn something new, on that, or anything specific? I know, man, it's kind of funny. Like I probably, let's see here. Let me think. I was gonna say, like, it's actually been a while. Like, I don't get to work on guitar too much these days. Like, the most I play is for these streams, of course, and if I'm songwriting or recording. But hybrid picking, nice. Yeah, I've done a little bit of that. I wouldn't say I'm like a pro at it, but there's maybe like a few songs with like a guitar solo where I'll incorporate some of that. A little bit of fusion stuff, nice. Yeah, I was, back when I was. Probably about like 10 years ago, that was probably like when I got really heavy into my guitar playing. I was getting into bands, a lot of technical metal bands, between the Buried in Me, the Faceless, Silosis. I never take guitar classes. Oh, so this is like one of the first ones. Okay, cool. Well, hey, there's a first time for everything. And there's always something new to learn. Like even me, especially me. There's plenty more I could learn on guitar. But yeah, back when I was getting into those technical bands, that's when I was first learning like sweep picking and kind of improving my alt picking technique and stuff. And that's probably like, when I put the most effort into my guitar, and then after a while, I kind of just focused more of my efforts on recording. I've been focusing more on my vocals lately, trying to improve on that. But that's cool, man. I don't know. I know you had put out a little bit of music. I think it was on SoundCloud or something like that. So I don't know if you ever post on YouTube or anything like that. But yeah, if you're working on something with a little bit of hybrid picking, you'll have to post some kind of video or something to demonstrate that. So and let me know, and I'll check it out. So. But yeah, for those of you who are coming in a bit later, I probably am going to have to wrap this up. But if you do rewatch what we did on this stream, we actually checked out the band August Burns Red. Pablo, are you familiar with August Burns Red? And Moonlight, I can't remember if I asked you. Did you say whether or not? I'm kind of looking back. I don't think I got to ask you, but are you familiar with August Burns Red? Because I was kind of sharing. That August Burns Red was actually the band that got me into metal. When I first heard it, it was like super intense, and I wasn't really sure what to think of it, but I kind of like, went away from it, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, I think I'd like to hear that again. So Pablo says, I love August Burns Red. Yeah. So August Burns Red just released a new song. I don't know if you've heard it, but that's what what I reacted to today was a song called Ancestry, and it actually featured Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage. So that's right. They are a Christian band. Last I heard, I know Jake's still a Christian, and Matt, their drummer, which their drummer's amazing, is still a Christian. I think the rest of the band, I don't think they're. I think the rest of the band, they might still believe in God, but I don't think they claim to be like Christians or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure Matt and Jake, the drummer and the vocalist, I'm pretty sure they still are. But their drummer is definitely the MVP of the band. Like Matt is probably one of my favorite drummers. It's hard for me to intentionally get into new bands. LOL. It has to happen naturally for me. It's like, yeah, I can understand that too. I mean, there are times where friends introduce something to me, but it is hard to like, especially sometimes when it feels like a little bit like a to-do list. Like sometimes I'll add a bunch of bands to like I've got a YouTube playlist. Called Music to Check Out, and sometimes I'll add a bunch of stuff there, and sometimes I feel like it's more like a to-do list and not really getting to experience the music. So I do think the stuff I like, I tend to come across it, by accident a bit more, or more naturally. So I can understand that. But yeah, they're a very consistent band, and again, so that's kind of what we were checking out. We watched the new song they released, and then we watched the music video. That was the first video I ever saw by them, and it was the first my first real exposure to metal, and they were the kind of my gateway band into getting into metal and stuff. And for a long time, it was August Burns Red, Killswitch Engage, and All That Remains. That was kind of like my big three back in high school and stuff. Pablo, you say, yeah, I have some videos on Instagram. Well, awesome. If you get to practicing that hybrid stuff and you get pretty good at it, you'll have to post a video and let me know and I'll check it out. So, awesome. But yeah, we checked out some August Burns Red today, played a few songs, and just an update for you guys. So again, I am in the process of releasing a new song. Now, here's kind of how things work. So, just to let you know. So the way the music business works these days, singles are almost better than albums these days, and it's almost better to, with people just consuming content so quickly, it's almost better to release singles because it's easier to stay on people's radar when you're constantly releasing content, whereas an album, you could be working that for 2 years and then put it out, and it's you're working. No one knows about it, and then all of a sudden you come out and like, hey, here's an album, It's like, so unless you have a big following that's already anticipating music from you, it's better to release things frequently. So that's what I've been trying to work on. That's what I've been trying to do. And I have a system in place where I can actually produce songs pretty quickly. But every time you put a song out, you've got to have a video with it because people don't really just stop and listen to music anymore. A lot of people, they want to watch a video, if they're going to check out a song or something. And so there are basically 3 types of videos I can make whenever I put out a song. I could make the easiest video you can make is a lyric video. And basically, you might have a picture of the album cover, and then you've got the words on the screen as the song is playing. That's the easiest video you can make, but they don't do very well. Not a whole lot of people check out lyric videos. On the other end of the spectrum, you could make a music video. Music videos tend to do very well. People like to watch music videos, but music videos are also harder to produce. You definitely, you gotta, especially if you're trying to do a good music video, which I don't know if you guys know this, but well, I guess I have a background in filmmaking. So, and by background, I mean I am a filmmaker. Now, obviously, I'm pursuing a career in music, but I love filmmaking. So if you don't, and if you've seen some of my videos and my music videos, again, those are videos that I've. That's right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments here. Pablo mentioned the ukulele videos. You were shredding on that ukulele, man. That's right. I remember watching those. So. That's right. I forgot that you do post on Instagram. So, but anyway, so yeah, I love filmmaking. I still want to make movies someday, but in the meantime, one step at a time. So music's, kind of the one I had to pick right now. That's what I'm focusing on. But the nice thing is, when it comes to music videos, it's sort of an opportunity to kind of scratch that filmmaking itch and kind of make almost a little short film to promote your song. So. That's kind of what that's what seems to perform well. But again, it's tough to produce a song and then you have to come up, it's hard to put a time limit on creativity. So if you're trying to come up with an idea for the video and then you're trying to figure out how to pull it off, that's a lot of work for the video. So right in the middle are playthrough videos. And for me, the one thing that I try to highlight is that I am a multi-instrumentalist. And so, so when I do a playthrough video, I it's just me performing the song, and I show me singing, and then I cut to me playing guitar, I'll cut to me playing drums or bass or whatever it might be, and that's kind of right in the middle. Those videos, they still perform pretty well, but they're a lot easier to make because I don't have to, there's no creative element to it. I can just kind of, yeah. So, so they're just a lot easier to produce. So, but anyway, this new song that I'm working on, you've heard it before, the song "Waking Up." I've already done a playthrough video for it because when I first started doing the playthrough videos, I just thought, well, this is a way for me to share my songs. I don't have to release them. So it was kind of a demo version of Waking Up. But then after a while, I realized, wait, maybe I can release these songs. Maybe they are high enough quality to release on streaming and that kind of thing. So so I remixed and remastered Waking Up. And so I want to produce it, or I want to release it, but I've already done a playthrough video for it. So my option is a lyric video or a music video. And again, since lyric videos don't perform very well, I decided, all right, I'm going to go with the music video. So with that said, that's what I've currently been doing. I'm currently working on a music video, and it's been fun. It's again, it's been a lot of hard work. But I've gotten some of the footage already. Some of it I'm still in the production phase. Like yesterday, I got a bunch of test shots for one scene, and I'm going to look at them in the edit and just kind of make sure they work. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to. I've been working on a music video. Now, thankfully, once this music video is done, each song that I release from now on, I should be able to do a playthrough video for those songs. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing music videos. In fact, I would like to still do music videos. It's just I would prefer to do them intentionally, not because I have to, Because when I have to, it just kind of puts a strain on things for being consistent. But let's see here. Moonlight says, I guess I'm one of the few people that likes lyric videos because I almost always hear the wrong words. Yeah. And yeah, some people do like them. Again, I like lyric videos too, just because sometimes, especially if it's a song you're trying to sing along with. So it's kind of nice to just play the song and then have the words up on the screen. But I can just say, as someone posting content, usually the lyric videos don't perform as well as playthrough videos or music videos. And then, yes, I am a filmmaker. I was thinking about going to school for filmmaking. I have some short films and miniseries ideas. That's awesome. Have you done any filmmaking on your own? Did you ever make some home videos or, by yourself or with friends or anything like that? And what's... I mean, I'm assuming if you like filmmaking, you probably like all of it, but do you have interest in acting, directing, camera work, cinematography? What are kind of the areas that, do you just enjoy all of it, or were there any specific areas of filmmaking that you're really attracted to? Great minds really do think alike. Yep. Yep. And have some of the same interests. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool that you like filmmaking. Like I said, when I was... let's see. I got into filmmaking probably in my early, preteen kind of years, but not like doing it myself. I remember when I got we got our first DVD player, and we got the movie Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and it was 2 discs. And the second disc had all the special features, like how they made the movie. And I just obsessed over that. And so anytime we got a movie, I always wanted to get the 2-disc version so I could watch all the special features. I remember watching the special features for Star Wars and, for the Spider-Man movies and just Lord of the Rings, whatever movie we got, I would just spend forever just watching how they made it. I was so fascinated by the process. And I would just fantasize about, making movies myself. But for a long time, the kind of movies I wanted to make like action adventure movies. It just seemed out of my reach, it didn't seem like something I could do. And then YouTube came along, and I discovered a YouTube channel, a YouTuber named Freddie Wong. I don't know if you're familiar with Freddie Wong, but he used to post these action shorts. And I was just blown away, like, wow, that is awesome. This dude made an action film, or made a little action video. And then, even better, he made a tutorial teaching how to do a muzzle flash on a gun, like how to make it look like a gun was shooting with visual effects. And so once I realized I could do that, me and my friends, we tested it out. And once we realized we could do it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can make movies. And so that was the realization that I could make movies. And so that's when I started getting into it. And so for a long time, again, I have a lot of interest in, I was learning how to record music. I was learning how to make movies. I was acting and directing, and I was, playing different genres of music and stuff. But as I got into my 20s, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And, the truth, I want to do it all. I still want to do it all. I want to make movies and I want to make music. But I kind of realized if I was going to have any chance at succeeding, I've got to focus. Like I've got to pick one thing to focus on, and I felt like music was the most doable course for me. I felt like if I could do something by myself, it would probably be music. But it's a to-do list. Like right now, I'm trying to just get a foothold in a career in music, but I still plan to eventually branch out and, make movies again. I'm not really worried about getting into the movie industry, but I'm hoping I can make enough money to just produce my own films and just be an independent filmmaker, and just make the movies I want to make. So let's see here. I've never had the means to do any filmmaking, although I could probably do a little with my iPhone. Yep, cameras these days are really good. And yeah, there are plenty, again, YouTube is the place to go. There are plenty of videos talking about how to do filmmaking with an iPhone. So I'm interested in directing and camera work. I like the behind the scenes of things. Yep. I'm an amateur photographer, so my love for camera work goes into that. Yep. One thing I've learned about camera stuff, so the camera quality is definitely good enough on iPhone. There are two important things that help give you that cinematic look. As a low budget, or no budget filmmaker, probably the most important thing is your location. Find something that looks good. The best thing you can do is try to find, imagery that looks good. If you're just filming in your bedroom, unless you have a really cool looking bedroom, your bedroom, it's probably just going to look kind of plain and boring and dark. But if you go somewhere like an amazing, like beautiful, field or wooded area, or some really cool architecture, or just an alley, like some kind of cool alley, like for a chase scene or something like that. If you find like just a cool looking visual location, that's going to do a lot of the work for you in ensuring that you get a good image. And then the second thing is lighting. Now, for a long time, I thought lighting meant illuminance, like just how much lighting, but no, it's how you use the light to shape your scene. And then colors are important as well, like making sure there's complementary colors in your scene. Either they need to be, matching, like they need to be kind of like a monochromatic kind of thing, like, or they need to be complementary colors, like on the opposite end of the color wheel and that kind of thing. But using your lights to shape the scene, that is so important for making something look good. So those are a few little tips, but that's really cool that you have some interest in filmmaking. And again, YouTube is a great resource for that. If you've seen any of my music videos, those are videos that I made myself. Again, like For You, the song I just played, that's a video that me and my friend made. We used my camera. I had a Canon T3i. That's the camera that I use, and we just planned out the shot. We shot it in his apartment, and we had to do a little bit of set design just to make it look a little more, just to make it look better on camera. And we had to plan out like my outfits and stuff, make sure that looked good on camera. And then we created this sort of dream world. That's the room where I'm working on the puzzle or whatever. That was actually at our church. We just emptied out the fellowship hall, and that took a lot of time, just moving the chairs and tables out of the way. And then we turned on the ceiling lights and turned off everything else. So it was really dark, but you had this kind of this down light on me and the table set in place with the puzzle pieces on it. So. And then I did a video for Hard Goodbyes. That was a video I made by myself. That's kind of another example. But if you look up, if you go to my YouTube channel and you look up short films, you can see some of the videos I've done. One of my most popular videos on YouTube is actually a short film that I put out called The Initiation. And I think it was pretty popular because it's a one-man short film. I made it all by myself, and I think some people were pretty impressed because it's hard making movies by yourself. And I think people were pretty impressed, like, wow, this came out really good, considering you did it all by yourself, So, if you're interested, you'll have to check some of that stuff out. But that's really cool that you have an interest in filmmaking as well. I also looked at filmmaking school a little bit, but ultimately I decided not to go. The other thing about going to school was, for me, my only interest in going to like film school was if it was a guarantee. Like I was like, if I go to film school, is this going to get me a job in the industry? Or am I just going to spend a bunch of money just to learn a bunch of stuff, that I could learn on YouTube? And that's kind of the reality, I think, is yes, you could go to film school, but the truth is you can probably learn what you need to on YouTube for free. And now I'm actually not, again, like I said, I'm not sure that I would actually want to be involved in the film industry, just because when you're involved in the film industry, it sounds like it sounds like you don't just get to make what you want to make, you know? Like you have to find jobs, like you gotta work on just whatever job you can find. So that's why I'd be more interested in getting a financial state where I could produce my own movies, and that way I'm the boss and I have creative control. Like, here's the movie I want to make, and no one can tell me otherwise, you know? And I don't just have to work on a movie for a job. You know, I can make what I want to make. So that's kind of my interest. But I ought to go back and see your work. I've just been listening to the audios. Yep. Well, hey, I appreciate that. You know, again, that's my focus right now is just the audio stuff, just the music. But yes, a lot of the early stuff, a lot of the early stuff on my YouTube channel was filmmaking, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet. You know, I just did everything. I posted my music, I posted, you know, my short films, my tests with the camera, you know, all that stuff. There's even some, you know, if you go way back, there's like some movies I made with my friends with like a home video camera, and we made some pretty like fun action movies, and you know, they're pretty. They're fun, you know. They're fun, but they're not like high quality at all. So, you know, it was like back in the late high school, you know, like early graduated days. So, but since then, you know, I've learned a lot more about, you know, how to get the best results with your camera and lighting and stuff like that. And I'm by no means like a pro, but I'm pretty pleased with the results I can get, especially just doing things by myself and with pretty much no budget. So, but yeah, so you'll have to check some of that stuff out. But anyway, I appreciate you all tuning in. I got to get going, but thank you so much. For anyone watching now or on the replay, thank you so much. If you would like to support me, there is a link in the description to a virtual tip jar, and I certainly appreciate that. If you don't have the financial means to support me, my biggest goal right now is building an audience. So ways you can help me by doing that is by sharing my content, sharing my music, inviting people to come to the streams, you know, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and especially signing up for my email list. There's a link in the description to sign up for my email list, and this allows me to notify you whenever I release new music or a new video, and just kind of keep you in the loop with everything that's going on. And so that's sort of the best way to stay in touch with me. But, you know, for those of you tuning in, I appreciate you so much. And I can't say that enough. It really does mean a lot, those of you who stick around and watch, and the kind words you've shared, and just listening to my music. It's, you know, I can't express how grateful I am for that. So Thanksgiving is coming up, and one thing that I am definitely thankful for is you guys who watch. So thank you so much. Moonlight, I hope you have a great rest of the week. Pablo, thanks for stopping by. I'm not sure if you're still there, or and Gabriel, thanks for coming to the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully the language barrier wasn't too much of an issue. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. That's going to be a wrap for this stream. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening, or morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Until next time. Take care, Pablo. I'll see you later, man.